Hello everyone, so in this video we are going to learn how to avoid duplication of customer data in Google Sheets. So if you want to update your Google Sheet every now and then with different data that you will be receiving via email of a customer and avoid duplication for the same, then you can take help from this automation that we are going to create using Pabbly Connect. Here our trigger will be email parser, which will retrieve all the email data, and our action will be Google Sheets where updated cell value will be given. Let us learn how to do that. Let us learn how to avoid addition of duplicate data in a Google Sheet. Let us say that we have a Google Sheet named Customer Query where we keep all the details of our customers with their name, email address, the type of the customer, have they been contacted or not, and when was the last date when they were contacted. So like I have this customer over here. Now just an example that this customer again contacts me for some query. And what happens is that I have to add another row of the same person like this. And then I will update the date over here. But then that is a very long and time taking task. Also, it will just add duplicate data again and again. If I look for this person of the last date, all the previous dates will appear in front of me. So I have to search on the basis of date. And then I can't remember the dates of all the customers. So in that case, what we are going to do is not update the row again and again, but rather if the same existing customer is contacting again, then this date column will just be updated with the last updated date. So let us quickly sign in into our account. That will take me to this place where I can see all the applications provided by Pabbly, and we are going to use Pabbly Connect to create this automation. Click on Access Now. We will reach the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. Reaching here, you will see a big blue button on your right side where it's written Create Workflow. Click on the button and give a suitable name to your workflow. I'm going to name it as Avoid Duplication of Customer Data in Google Sheets. Click on Create and then a blank workflow will be created for you like you can see on your screen. You will be able to see Trigger and Action, the two major modules of Pabbly Connect on which the whole automation works. Before that, I would like to remind you to open the Customer Query Google Sheet or spreadsheet where you have the collection of all the data. Alright, and then I would like to remind one more thing that rather than using calling services, which you cannot keep a track of with all the details of the person and the contact number, I would suggest use email services so that you can keep the record of all the emails, the subject, the name of the person, including the email address. That will be easier for you to use that data. Now, let us understand what is trigger and action. Trigger says when this happens and action says do this, which means that trigger is going to be the first application where the event will take place manually, or we can say that we are going to perform the change over here. Once that does, it triggers the work and the action application does this, which means the assigned action will be performed. So the trigger over here will be the email received by the company sent from the customer. So to receive the email, we are going to use email parser. Now, email parser is a feature of Pabbly itself. It brings the email sent to any specific email address over here as a response. For that, we need to integrate our email services with this PC mail hook. So let us learn how are we going to do that. So once we have copied it from here, go to your Gmail. This is my Gmail. Go to Settings, see all settings, and then here forwarding and POP IMAP. When you reach over here, remove the prior mail hook over here and then add a forwarding address. Paste your new forwarding address mail hook that we just copied from our webhook. Click on Next and then proceed. Now, a sample response will be sent where it will include a confirmation code so that we are sure of all the location that we are forwarding the emails to. So let us go and check our workflow. See, here we have received a response and we have to look for body text of the email, and here is our email where we have the confirmation code right here. So let us copy this and paste it in our verification code. Paste it here, verify, and click on this button which says forward a copy of incoming mail to this mail hook. Once this is done, click on Save Changes and your work has been done. So all the emails that will be sent to this specific email address, a copy of that email will be sent to that mail hook where it will be received as a webhook response. So here this was a sample one. Let us recapture email parser response, and now we will send a mail to that email address about our customer query. So let us frame an email. I'm composing one. I'll type the email address over here. and here the subject will be customer query. Now one thing that you have to make sure is all the customers will have to send this perfectly typed subject over here so that we can differentiate the customer query emails and the random emails that the company might receive. So this is my email, this is my content that I have written. I will just click on send and it will be sent. See, the message is sent. Let us go to our workflow and let us wait for the response over here. And we have received the response right here. Let us scroll down and look for our body text. This is the body text. And here if we open it, see, this is the message that we typed. And also we'll be having the subject as customer query right here, which means that we were able to send a perfectly framed email over here about the customer query. So now our next step is a filter. See, I mentioned while typing the subject of our email that we have to be very specific to choose the subject, because only the customer query related subjects will be sent over here as a response. Rest will not be sent because they are not the part of this specific workflow that we are creating. So here we will choose the subject. So type over here subject, and what is the subject? Customer query. So it should contain customer query, right? So whatever is the subject, it should contain customer query. Click on save and send test request and it is a success, which means that whenever a customer sends an email with the subject customer query, or in the whole subject there is a part of customer query, then this condition will be true, and then further this workflow will run. And if the email is not about any query sent by the customer, it could be any other company's mail, then it is not a part of this workflow. Now further what we are going to do is that we will look up the data from our Google Sheet. We have to bring the data from the Google Sheet so that we can check that do we have the customer already or not. If it is already existing in our Google Sheet, then we do not need to add one more row. We will just update this data. So let us take that information. Here you have to look for sheets as your application, and then the event will be lookup spreadsheet rows. So it will look for the value that we will be providing it. Click on connect, add new connection, and since Google Sheet is a Google account, Google application, you have to sign in with your Google account. Choose your account over here and click on allow. Once the connection is done, you have to set some changes over here, like choose your spreadsheet. So customer query is the spreadsheet name, correct? Sheet is just one lookup column. So which is the column you want to look for? Email. Email is something which is unique. So here we will write column B. Lookup value, you have to map this lookup value from here, the address that you have received. Now click on save and send test request, and it will search this email address, and whenever it will find the email address, it will come back with the response of all the data related to that email address. See, the name of the person, the email, the type of customer, the status of the customer contact, and the last date when the customer is contacted. So we have received all the data, which means that if there is a row index right here, which is 2, if this exists, which means the customer exists. If there was no row index, which means that we have to add a new row. So for that, remember that we have to here add a router. Router actually is a feature that is built inside Pabbly. It gives us 2 ways of executing 2 different situations, but taken from one single place. Like this Google Sheet exists and the customer also exists. So in one case over here in route 1, the customer is existing and only the date needs to be updated. In second case, the customer does not exist, so the whole row has to be added. In this case, we will add router, but since we are talking about date, we need to have the current date also. When this email is received by us, we need that date because that is going to be the latest updated version of that date. So click on this plus button and add a last step over here by choosing date time formatter, which is again a feature built inside Pabbly, and we are going to get the current date. Click on connect. Connection is not a difficult part. This is the format of the date, year, month and date. This is the format we have been following. So we will simply click on save and send test request, and it will bring the date when this workflow is going to run. So the date of this email being received by the company is going to be the same as this current date. Now since we have done that, let us start choosing our router over here. I selected it again because I added one more step in between so that it can be refreshed. Now let us first name this one as contact exist. Click on update and this is updated. Set filter and action steps. So where you have to apply a filter which allows to continue only if this situation is satisfied. So here in our Google Sheets, when we have a row index exist, you can say row index exists. Click on save and send test request. Yes, it does exist because if the row index exists, then the customer exists. Given this situation, what you have to do? Update the date column. So just choose sheets over here in your action application, and here the event will be to update cell value. Here where is update? Update cell value is required. Click on connect. And you have to now choose select existing connection because you've already chosen Google Sheet in this workflow, so it's nothing new over here. Click on save, and here it is connected. Now choose the name of your sheet and also the sheet over here. Now you have to enter a range. So what is the range? So the range example is given over here. You have to enter the column name and the row index. So the column name of date is E. So let us choose over here E, that is the range, and map the row index from here. Row index is 2. This is how you map it. What is the value that needs to be updated? That is the current date. Okay, the new date. Click on save and send test request and see. Earlier it was something else and now it has changed to 7/6/2023. So it is changed. It is updated. How many cells updated? 1 cell updated. Nothing else was changed. Now you can close this one and simply just copy paste it if the steps are almost similar. So I'm going to clone it. Yes. And delete the third router over here because it is of no use. We have just 2 situations given over here. Let us rename this one, and in this case it is going to be doesn't exist. Click on update, and now this router will be set for the customers who are not existing in here. So if it is not existing here, then new row will be added with all the data. So set filter and action step, since we cloned it, so the filter will be already set. We just have to make sure to change it to does not exist. So if any response from the Google Sheet does not have the row index over here, which means it does not exist, click on save and send test request and see. This situation is false, the status is error, which means if does not exist, then the Google Sheet needs to be added a new row. Click on connect, similarly save existing connection. And here again you have to choose the spreadsheet which is already selected. The sheet is also selected. What is the name of the person? So the name and all the data you have to take from email parser and also the Google Sheets. So the email parser is having the name. This is the name of the person. What is the email address? This is the email address of the person. Type of the customer, you can take it from Google Sheet, which is regular. And then we have the status, which is contacted. Obviously, then only this workflow is actually going to work. Contacted, and what is the date? So the date will be taken from datetime formatter, which is this. Okay, the recent date, the current date. You don't have to take the date from Google Sheet. It will be the current date only. Click on save and send test request, and the new customer situation will be handled this way, that if we do not have the data of new customer who sent an email about a query, then that customer will be added over here like this. Now, because we were having the data of only one customer, considering this dummy workflow, then we added the same customer twice. But whenever a customer sends an email over here and you do not have the data of that specific customer in your Google Sheet, then it will be added like this. And if it exists, then only the date will be updated. So this was the whole workflow. I hope this helped. Not just these applications, but you can integrate many other applications using Pabbly Connect. If you have any issue regarding Pabbly, you can email us at support@pabbly.com. You can ask your queries at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any doubts regarding our pricing, then you can connect us through this given website. If you found this video helpful in any way, then make sure to share this with your friends and colleagues to make their life easier by creating automations. We will meet in the next video. Till then, do not forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.